Hi, welcome to Woodstock on the Couch, another episode. Today we're joined by Jamie, and we had promised that this episode is going to be exclusively around solutions regarding the meth epidemic that is happening in Winnipeg, Manitoba. And Jamie, I want to thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to look exclusively on solution, and we're going to see ways and means that we can provide somewhat of an idea for a solution for the meth crisis that we currently face.
As you know, my name's Jamie, and I'm originally from out west. I come from a good family. I was raised in a middle-class family in Saskatoon. I was valedictorian for my high school grade. I played football through high school, got good grades, went to university a couple of years, but I struggled with addiction. I started off with alcohol and marijuana, then graduated to cocaine, then opiates, and eventually was introduced to crystal meth, which has become my downfall.
Wow. Share with us your experience when you were first got introduced to this.
Well, it was a night when we weren't able to get cocaine, and the dealer said, I have something stronger that might be risky, and I don't know if you want it, but we were desperate and knew what we were being introduced to, and so we tried it. We smoked crystal meth, and I was hooked right from the word go.
Just like that.
Almost instantly. I remember the next morning he said, I'm sorry I took your soul. And that's been too true the case. It's
Wow.
I got more the next day and plenty times after.
So for those who are not aware of this, crystal meth actually will take your soul. One of the heart-rending issues that is facing Winnipeg, Manitoba now is, we have drugs crisis everywhere. You were sharing something earlier with me, Jenny, and with respect to, let's say I know nothing about meth, okay? How is this thing made? Where is it from?
It can come from lots of places, but it can come from any place at the same time. It doesn't need to be flown in from Miami or Colombia. It doesn't need to come from overseas. It can be made down the street in a bathtub, in a water bottle, in a
Wow.
lab, and really anywhere, anyway.
A water bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So this is something that is so readily available, it seems?
Quite so. And it's dirt cheap, and it lasts long, and it's everywhere.
Oh, my. So now, take me full circle. How has your experience been?
It's been a tough road to walk. It's I've had various stints of cleaning up and being straight off with all the drugs and alcohol, but it's hard to keep it through multiple years because it's such an addictive drug, and it changes the chemistry of your brain.
Oh, my.
And they say, I've heard it takes up to 18 months to clear it out of your system and for your brain to start acting right again.
18 months.
And that's a long time to stay abstinent, to wait for your brain to heal. A lot of times it's I've relapsed. I've gone
Okay.
back and I've used again, which restarts the cycle.
Oh, Lord.
It's super negative effects on everybody. When I was using it, I didn't eat, I didn't
Mhm.
sleep, I didn't drink water, I didn't associate with friends or family. I failed commitments to my job. I failed commitments to loved ones. I eventually was living in my car and just living to smoke crystal meth.
Jeez. So you had a job.
I did. I had a very good union job.
Wow. So it's not necessarily exclusive to one group of individuals nor people that live in a certain neighborhood, correct?
It doesn't pick a demographic. It's everywhere. There's business people, there's blue collar people, there's street people. It's across the board.
It's across the board. Wow. And again, Jamie, thanks for sharing this with us. And I know this must be difficult. And it's very good on you doing this. Very good on you doing this, because I think the idea with this is to try and do everything we can to make sure people are aware, people are alert of this danger, and it's not swept under the rug. Okay, it's being discussed openly, and it's been, it's time we bring about some meaningful change. We spoke with Beverly from Agape Table, and she had shared some of her experiences with us as well. And we spoke with another fellow, Tom, and he was sharing with us that it's a thing that just grabs everybody, and that there's a society out there that almost protects you, in the sense that your dealers, these people will come to your aid whether you have money or not money, right? And it's one of those sad things. And because you're looking for a high, you're looking for a quick fix. So we want to talk also with Jamie about solution. So this is an idea that we have with respect to a Winnipeg solution. We're going to do a Winnipeg solution. This may not be the perfect solution, but I believe if we have a plan, I believe if we have an idea where we need to go with this, reduce it completely out of the society, but we have to start with one. And you were sharing some things with me. So how do you see this solution side of the coin? What can we do?
It's tough. If anybody really knew the answer, I would hope that they would act on it, but I know what we're doing currently is not being effective. The scare tactics, the incarceration, the isolating people that are involved in this problem is not working. And I know when I was in school, we watched these videos that were meant to scare us, to show us what would happen if we tried it, but that it almost sparked more curiosity and wondering why people were doing this. Why is this everybody telling us not to try this? I should probably try it.
Yeah.
And I know that there's certain things you can do. Like I did treatment.
Okay.
I did treatment 6 times.
Wow.
So I'm good at sobering up, and I'm not good at staying sober. And like I said about the 18 months before your brain's right and you're back to being healthy, I would hope there would be some way to carry people through to get to that point. Because detox is 1 week or 10 days.
10 days.
That's not enough time to get your head right. Treatment is a month. So you go to detox and you go to treatment, you're looking at 40 days. And by then you're not healthy yet. You haven't found a new friend group. You're still associating with the same old people. If you're going back to the neighborhood or the people you were with before, or all the old associations, it's tough. Wow. Especially when you've been typecast as a meth addict. Then you're kind of limited to what you can do and who you think of yourself as a person, or who I thought of myself as a person.
So the solution lies somewhere between an extended period of help, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years kind of a thing.
I would say that's a very big step towards finding a solution. We need to carry and walk with the addict till they get to a point where they can feel healthy and have self-esteem and maybe be employable, maybe have housing.
Yeah.
And also by not alienating them from society or making them feel shameful if they slip, if they've tried treatment before. Like I've had plenty of chances to sober up, but eventually something will stick, and eventually something will catch on, and I'm starting to believe in myself.
Good for you. Because that, I think, is what a lot of folks that I've talked to struggled with. Them not seeing themselves as, I can do this for not just a month or 2, but I can do this for the next 60 years, 50 years of my life. I can do this. And it's easy. It's easy for us to sit, and those, myself and others that I hear from time to time, people talk about Oh yeah, those people need to get cleaner. Oh yeah, those people need to go detox. But the system doesn't work. The system that we currently have has not worked. And Beverly alluded to this as well, that we need to find a way to bridge those gaps, okay? Because too often people end up falling through those cracks, okay? Because of one various departments to the next. So, yeah, I think it's something that we need to do. But share something with me now. So you have a chance to sit with the Mayor of Winnipeg, and you're sitting across from him, and you say to the Mayor of Winnipeg, what would you say to the Mayor of Winnipeg? Assuming it's Don Woodstock come November, and you're talking to Don Woodstock, the Mayor, what are some of the things that you want Don Woodstock as Mayor of Winnipeg to do?
I would hope that, I would ask him what he's doing to help the people currently addicted to crystal meth.
Yes.
What he's doing to prevent people from being introduced to crystal meth.
Yes.
And what is he doing to eradicate the presence of crystal meth in the city?
So you're talking a 3-part action plan. An action plan is the prevention. The action plan includes the current people who are addicted to crystal meth. And the action plan would be, okay, what are we doing as a society to eradicate this? Okay.
Yes, and partially because it's too late to prevent it. It's already here.
It's already here. Okay.
It's been here, and
yeah.
But there can be prevention in schools. There can be
yes.
prevention of people like myself who was introduced to going to treatment and to sobriety
yeah.
prior to trying crystal meth. So there's education of where it can lead you, what it can do, and generally the stigma around it, I think, is a huge issue, because I definitely, when I was in the problem or starting to sober up, I felt like an outsider. I felt like I wasn't accepted by society. I felt very alone in my recovery, and I didn't know there were people like me that had used crystal meth, that were sober now and learned how to live without it.
Wow. So by connecting the dots, we will get the education component to as part of the solution, which is one of the things you touch on seriously, and also to literally get the various agencies and departments to realize that they have to come to the table and know it's a we thing, it's a Winnipeg thing. So we want a Winnipeg solution from the mayor, and as mayor of the city, I would be drawing on every department head, all the social workers that there is, all of these groups or organizations, because we have enough of them already. There's no shortage of people helping folks, but what's missing is to prevent folks from falling through the cracks. Okay, so we're gonna try and get that sorted out, and as mayor, that's what I would do. Going into the schools with the education component, not the scare tactics, because the scare tactics don't work. So you hear it firsthand. The scare tactics does not work. Okay, so we're gonna come up with something else to bring the education a little bit more rounded. Get people like yourself and others who are involved in it currently and past to say, guys, this is my life, this is what it was, this is who I am now. I'm fighting this thing, I'm struggling with this thing, I'm over this thing, I've been clean now in your case 5 months, which is good for you. Right on, my friend. And so, but the police department also have their hands full, because they can only do so much because it's limited. I've been in this service industry for a while.
10 years.
10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so you started where?
Started at the Red Road Lodge, which was the former New Occidental Hotel.
Okay.
And I started there in 2009.
Okay.
And what we endeavored to do was to provide an abstinence-based housing model so that people could select a housing model
Okay.
that would support their recovery.
Yes.
Now, either, some people were in recovery, people wanted recovery, or people had never needed recovery, but they wanted sober living.
So,
and what
yeah.
we ran up against there was absolute bureaucracy and more horse hockey, if I can, coin that phrase. But at the end of the day, what ended up happening is that we were unable to provide the type of absence-based housing because we fell under residential tenancies branch. So I'm in recovery, you're not in recovery. You've said you want recovery, and at the end of the day, you really don't, so you're actively using. So as a housing facility, we were never able to say, it's clear you don't want recovery. It's clear you're taking advantage of this safe environment, but you are putting all these other people who are in recovery at risk. So please, take 30 days and find an alternative place to live.
Yes.
And we were not able to enforce that. And so what happened was this perpetuating cycle where more and more and more people were coming in and getting in and relapsing or actually not pursuing it.
Yeah.
And what we ended up happening was our entire housing dream and our model and our goals were thwarted by bureaucracy because we couldn't deal separate from residential tenancies branch. And when we dealt with the province, because these people were being paid, their rent was being paid by EIA, by welfare, and when we dealt with them and we said, we would like you to acknowledge that we are a program-based living environment. That's what we want you to acknowledge. And what they said was, we do not support programming, we only support housing. Therefore, we will not acknowledge that you're a program-based living environment. Because with that endorsement, we could have gone to the residential tenancies branch and then been able to come out from underneath their purview. And we could have, just like 210 Recovery House and those other locations, been able to do something concrete. So our efforts and the efforts that we were undertaking on behalf of the other individuals who were sought recovery sincerely were thwarted. And it was unsuccessful. And so really at this particular point, I think it's been abating.
Yes. Oh, you know what? Thank you for this, because I believe a lot of the politicians, so to speak, they're not listening to something else because the voting public are not aware. They're not aware that this is the answer to the problem, is to listen to people like yourself and others on the ground, like the young man I spoke to this morning, who just came out of hospital a week ago.
That's right. But he came out of hospital to what?
Yes.
To what? To nothing.
To nothing.
Correct.
To nothing. So he is, seem like I'm praying for him, and I can only wish him well.
That's right.
That he doesn't get back into that society.
Correct. Yes. But when you have nothing, and that is the only companionship, the only safety in numbers, the only place where potentially there might be a meal one day, that is all you have. And it's the same when people get out of prison as well. So we have built the system that has kept people unwell. It has perpetuated the cycle of poverty, and it has worsened the condition because now when you are trying to escape from the horrible circumstances that you're in, we now have given them a very cheap drug that will give them a high for a very long time, that will keep them awake and walking so they can stay safe when they're homeless.
You're now the ED of Agape Table.
Yes, I'm the executive director of Agape Table.
Okay. And I guess you see this on a regular basis, folks coming here that you...
Do you know, do I see it? I mean, when people come to Agape Table, we see people who are grateful for safe community and an all-inclusive approach to them. So I don't see people who are high here. I see people here who are poor, who are lonely, who are malnourished, people who have got years of this perpetuating cycle, and I see gratitude and I see peace from them.
One of the reason I asked that question is because a lot of folks on the outside who's never had a meal here or never sat down and eat a breakfast or a lunch here have no idea of what these people are, and that they're just as human as I am.
Oh, and they are their strength and their courage and their fortitude is not only heartbreaking, but it's inspiring. And what's interesting that you would say that is that one of the fellows who comes here regularly and has been coming here for years, and he's not an addict and he's not a meth user and he isn't homeless, but he comes here because he lives on that poverty line. And he said to me the other day, he said, I would like to invite everybody to come to Agape, not to volunteer, but to have breakfast with us. And see who we are.
Yes.
And to hear our story and
Yes.
why we are here.
Yes.
Because I do have a lot of individuals
Yeah.
who have never had an addiction.
Yes.
Or been clean and sober for a number of years.
Yes.
And they just know they can come here from Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
They can have a hot meal.
Yeah.
There's food often that we have that we can give away, and resources of clothing, etc. And then they can go on their way. So that helps them, because the province provides individuals on EIA was $3.91 a day to live on for 3 meals.
Wow.
That is a joke.
Yes.
And it's an insult, and that is the level that was determined about 25 plus years ago.
Yeah. And that needs to change.
Yes, and you know what? That isn't something that anybody who's a voter
Yeah.
should argue, that
Yes.
it needs to change.
It needs to change.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Right on. There you have it. Just as though 100 years ago we didn't have paramedics around, okay? So now we end up with paramedics because of the need for services. It's a complex issue, and I'm not suggesting in any way, shape, or form that is, we're going to snap our fingers and all of a sudden we have this problem solved. But pointing the finger and telling us that we have a problem and looking like a deer in a headlamp is not the answer, okay? Because that ain't going to help us no way. We needed a plan. We needed a plan. Part of what we are suggesting, and I need your input on this, is if we had a facility, okay, something similar to Homes for Heroes Foundation. Homes for Heroes Foundation is an organization that takes veterans that's off the street and find homes for them, but they find services as well and integrate them back into society over time, okay? That's missing here for people that are on meds or addicted or on the street. And I believe because of the benefits and the cost-saving mechanism that the government themselves have done a study on to clearly state that if they help folks in this niche, then it's actually saving the taxpayers money. So as mayor of the city, I will be doing that. I'll be looking at a parcel of property outside the city that it will be very nicely developed, and so that if you have that issue and you go to your detox and you go to your treatment center, we don't send you back into the circle where you once had the problem, but we now take you into a community, okay, that is going to provide you with the support, a different headspace, out of the box thinking that is needed. Winnipeggers, we need to do something different. I have asked the city of Winnipeg to follow my vision before, when we changed the name from Garbage Day to Recycle Day 10 plus years ago. We were doing 45% participation rate in the recycling program. Today we are at 95% or more in the recycling program because of that one name change. I'm asking Winnipeggers this time around that we need a vision, and clearly nobody else have a vision for this, but we believe, Jamie, that if we had a parcel of property and we were to follow the concept of Homes for Heroes Foundation, I believe we could do it here. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea. I know I'm not just a meth addict. I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a worker, I'm a friend among friends. I'm many things more than just a meth addict. And I was consumed by the thought that that was all that I was, and I couldn't be anything else. But with support, I've been able to believe in myself again. And it takes a village to raise a child. It's going to take Winnipeg to support a healthy solution to this meth crisis.
So there you have it. It's going to take Winnipeggers, Linden Ridge, Southdale, Island Lake, West End, North End, Kildonan. It's going to take us. It's going to take us. It's going to take Winnipeggers, us, to come up with something that is a plan. And I believe part of that process is to ask you, and this is what I'm doing, I'm using as the platform to ask you to make sure that we don't let this election go by without you voting for somebody that is really have a plan that is going to solve this, one step closer to solving this, so to speak. And so the Winnipeg plan would be to adopt a similar concept like Homes for Heroes Foundation, get all of these services together so that when they do find somebody that would be a candidate to come onto this concept of homes, facilities, service, we're going to name it something. Maybe we name it after you, Jenny. Who knows? The first guy steps forward and says, let's do this. Why not? Why not? Because at the end of the day, what matters most is to have people like yourself step forward. People like yourself who are prepared to say, you know what, we have a problem. Yes, we do, but here's the solution. Here's the path we need to take. And so I believe this is what's needed. So we're going to push this issue. And thank you for coming in. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you also for taking the time to listen to us on this. Thanks again, my friend.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you for joining us here today.